Hello, welcome to a mini emergency episode of Frack the Canon because we just found out that the mecca that is our holy land for us nerds, Comic-Con San Diego, got canceled. And as always, joined by Sara Bennett and my brother from another mother, Mr. CJ McCree from Milwaukee. What is up? What is up? All right, Sara, let's start with you. You've been to Comic-Con.
I've been to Comic-Con for multiple years.
How does that feel? You being there, the mecca. How does your soul feel? What is your soul feeling?
I actually am doing okay because I don't feel like I'm missing out since it's canceled.
Mm-hmm.
It's been much worse when I haven't gotten a badge and I know it's still happening. But since no one's able to go, I'm kind of like, oh well, that's okay.
So a little bit of Freudenschreider over there.
Schadenfreude.
Is that one? What CJ said? CJ's so smart. CJ's so smart. CJ, your thoughts?
No, you beat me by 3 seconds. That was my joke I was going to say, but but thankfully you said it wrong, so I got to take part anyway.
Status quo.
Right,
status quo.
My thoughts on Comic-Con being canceled, like you said, like our mecca, our Taj Mahal. You know what I mean? We are not worthy. No, but seriously, I think it's interesting. Because I've never been to Comic-Con. I've been to cons. But I've never been to Comic-Con, so like I can't grasp the scope of how crazy that would be. Obviously, it's smart to not have that many people, sweaty, unbathed people, hanging out in one area. You know what I mean? Like in lines and just kind of like moving around. There's even like the even having not gone myself, there's even that saying of like con sickness or con flu or whatever.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like
term. I've seen several people actually get taken to the hospital. One who had a bug fly in her ear because she had been sleeping in line overnight outside. But like I've heard stories so there's been explosive vomiting, and that's without there's no way to social distance at Comic-Con. They would have to cut attendance by, I'd say, over 90% to maintain like a 6-foot circle around everyone, and there's no way.
Over 90%? Are you being hyperbolic, or is this?
Well, 150,000 people go. Just think about how much space,
Where's the fire marshal for this? That doesn't sound safe at all. Anyway,
they have limited capacities. That huge numbers, not all at the con at the same time.
Right. Okay. No, because I've only been to a handful of cons myself. My first con ever was with CJ in 2005. It was
that was my first con too.
Oh, is it really?
We popped that con too.
We put it together. Oh my god. That is so cute. Ew. I'm just kidding. It was 2005. It was Long Beach Comic-Con. It's where I first met Kevin Smith, my hero. And that was still kind of a little bit mind-blowing, but I don't think it would be as mind-blowing as Comic-Con from what you said, Sara. But then I've come to one up here in the Bay Area. Fanime, which is a big anime con. Not as big as the LA one. But that one is huge too, and I took my sister last year, and it was just people were on top of each other. So I'm assuming it's 10 times worse, 100 times worse at San Diego. And yeah, I don't know. CJ, your thoughts on the cons?
Now, here's another thought that I was having is, one of the biggest things that we see in the media or whatever that we're inundated with as fans. Is these cons are for the fans, and it's for us to get excited and rally behind stuff. But the other aspect is that these cons are also to do business too.
Right.
You know what I mean? So there are other things that are happening there besides what's being broadcast just to us. There's other things happening. There's parties and stuff, and then there's deals that are happening behind the curtains, and there's other things that are being showcased. These are here are things to showcase like new things coming out, so that investors are more interested for the rest of the year or next year coming too. Like, oh, you guys got this coming out. Okay, my money's safe with you because people are going to be excited about this, or you know what I mean, various things like that. So in some respect, I do wonder. Yes, Comic-Con is canceled, but maybe if there won't be something more similar to what the older like E3 used to be, in that it's like just kind of a trade show, like just aimed at like just industry professionals,
right?
And maybe it's like it's a smaller thing, and maybe it's just over Skype or whatever, or maybe it's or maybe they do actually come somewhere and meet and just go over a few things. Obviously nothing's really open, so there's no fun there. Fun to be had, and just business, of course, but whatevs.
So they did do. So WonderCon was supposed to be last weekend, which is like the smaller Comic-Con in LA. And they did like an online thing where they replayed actually old panels, which I was like, okay, that's kind of lame. I've already seen it. But they had like an activity book, and like I think they had a few new, like some comic book artists did like a virtual presence, and you could virtually shop at a lot of the vendors. So maybe they'll do something like that with Comic-Con. As well this July.
But it seems like everyone's doing that too. Like everyone is doing a virtual. Like even Jim Lee, who it's all talking about Comic-Con, still in the same wheelhouse, same genre kind of. Is everyone's doing virtual fundraising, virtual. I don't know what else to say. Like virtual interactions for stuff. Like Jim Lee's doing selling art that he's being commissioned by to do. Like he did a Batman Beyond. He did Batman and Batgirl and Hush, was it? Or Joker? You think, so going back to what Sara thought about, is that what's going to be the new thing now, where it's going to be virtual trade shows now? TJ, thoughts?
I mean, yeah. I honestly, like, in what we're dealing with right now, that's like the only option for a lot of things,
Right.
I don't really want to talk about this, but like we can like just outside, a little bit outside of the wheelhouse of our show, I mean, if you think about like the, obviously there's a presidential election this year, right. And like freaking like, they keep talking about like the DNC, where I'm staying, Milwaukee is like a big component of that. Like they have a big Democratic convention here, and they're talking about how that's going to work. You know what I mean? Like, but like just that idea that like this is right now, like the world is still trying to turn beyond the coronavirus, you know what I mean? Like beyond the quarantine and safer at home order. There are a lot of people who are out of work, but there is still business to be done and still things that have to roll on, you know what I mean? Right. Like, and because of that, because of the situation we're in, and because stuff still has to move, like there has to be some give. There has to be a way that we find out how to get around, like being near each other to get stuff done,
Yeah. That's well here. In the Bay Area, this is definitely out of the wheelhouse. This is definitely a little bit more current affairs. But here in the Bay Area, we're starting to see a decline of the curve, I think, right, Sara? Is that?
Yeah, we're definitely being very successful at flattening the curve here. Though we haven't been out of a shelter in place since, I would say, like the second week in March. So
it's been a month, right? I think March 17th was the St. Patty's Day was the day officially shelter in place took effect. So we've been in shelter in place for about a month. But what worries me is this is definitely might cut this out, might not. The second wave of cases, right? Supposedly, historically, after pandemic or whatever, there's usually a second wave. So that's what I'm worried about. So I'm wondering if we're going to be in this for a little bit longer. Anywho, let's go back on. So, any cons that you were looking forward to, locally or the national ones? Me personally, I've been going to Silicon Valley Comic Con because it was the biggest one up here. We were getting big names. We got Power Rangers here. We got Zordon. I wish they would bring Jamie Alexander, but yet no luck. But fingers crossed. Sara, besides San Diego, what else do you go to?
I think last year I went to Shucks, which is a board game convention in Vancouver. And so I have plane tickets to go in October, but I have no idea if that's going to be a reality. So we'll just have to see what happens. Obviously, I don't want to go up there and bring something with me or bring something back or expose anyone. So safety is a priority, but it just would be really nice to have at least one con this year.
CJ, any ones that you were looking forward to?
Yeah, I hadn't gone in like a year or so. I was actually I was going to go to the Wizard World Chicago. That usually comes to Wisconsin in midsummer, July or August. So I believe they did say that they were canceled. Though I did get to go to Anime Milwaukee earlier this year, though, so that was cool. But yeah,
that reminds me. So right now, the big one I want to go to is Power MORPHICON, because again, I'm a Power Rangers fan, as everyone knows. The documentary's out. Check it out. But the only way I want to go is because two of the actresses who were on that show, who are local to New Zealand, are actually coming to the States. I'm like, that's the only way I want to go, because I don't know when else I'd be able to see them. Unless I make it and become a Power Rangers writer director. But yeah, no, that's the one I'm really, really looking forward to. So right now it's still scheduled, but I don't know. It's supposed to be in August, September, but if San Diego Comic-Con canceled, I don't think we're going to see that Power MORPHICON this year. But yeah. But moving on to a little bit lighter news. Still things on the schedule. Wonder Woman 84, according to IMDb, scheduled for August 14th, 2020, I believe. Let me double check that. But Sarah, you're the Wonder Woman fan. You are the woman. Yes, August 14th, 2020. Thoughts?
That's not happening.
Can you elaborate?
There's no way. How are you going to social distance in the movie theater? Like, it just... I don't know if I would feel comfortable even at this point, like, thinking ahead to August, feeling like I could sit in a movie theater. Like, how do they clean those seats? Like, and it's such a huge vector for disease. Like Gavin Newsom is talking about slowly opening up, and I don't think movie theaters would be the place that they would start, just because it's a very non-essential mass gathering, even though it does employ lots of people. But, like, it's just, if you're trying to do contact tracing, a movie theater is like a nightmare.
So it's the two bars I go to, I've been going to since, the main one, St. Stephen's Green, and the one I go to, actually because of both of my friends, Shannon. Hi, Shannon! The bar, one of the bar managers told me that he thinks he's going to open up, but going to open up to half the capable size. So instead of 250, it might be 100 people, 125. So if they do that, I think we're going to open up small businesses first, small restaurants, small bars. But going back to Wonder Woman, you don't think they're going to do on demand like everyone's doing right now?
I mean, maybe on demand. But they just lose so much, like, revenue, because it's so much more expensive to go see it in a theater, because you get the per person purchase, right? Like,
that's true.
If I go with a friend, suddenly we're both paying like $15 each. But if I watch it with my household, we'll pay like $10 to rent it, and we'll all watch it together.
I paid $20. My mom wanted to watch Trolls: The World Tour. I paid $20 for that. So yeah, no, it's definitely. I don't know. Thought, TJ?
I mean, imagine you said your mom wanted to watch Trolls World Tour. You just paid $20 for your whole family to maybe see that potentially. Whereas at the theater, what is 5 of you? What, 6 of you? That's $15 a pop. You know what I mean? And that's if you don't get snacks and all that crap. That's freaking. That's about what? That's $100 that I hate math, so I'm not even gonna do it. But that's $100 that they just missed out. That's $100 that they just missed out on, because you bought freaking $20. You spent $20 so your mom could see it. You know what I mean? That right there, is the reason why I don't think that they're gonna go the on-demand route. Now, towards the will they make their August date conversation, I don't necessarily disagree with Sara on that, and simply because for the same reason why they won't go digital. Because money. Because like making money, and it's like, is August soon enough for people to really feel like they're comfortable enough to sit in a theater? That's the big question. Like, it's April right now. Like, am I gonna feel like in August, like, hey, let me go to see this freaking movie? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know that there's anything that's coming out this year that I'm like rushing to see in the theaters. There's things I want to see, but I don't know if there's anything I'm rushing to. Avengers isn't coming out this year. I don't care about, you know what I mean? Like,
Black Widow. Black Widow, the thickness.
I have to see Avengers in the theater. But I don't know about other movies. I don't even know if I had to see, like, Spider-Man Far From Home in the theater. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm a big Spidey fan. Heck, look at that right there. That's in my room.
Look at it. Look at it.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. Like the economical question, I think that's the big reason. Like, are people going to be comfortable enough to go to the theaters, even after they relax, even after they open the country back up, even after people can kind of go back to, out to eat and concerts and, whatever. Like, are people going to feel like going into an enclosed space, breathing the same air as 100 other people,
Yeah, because we don't even know if it's like a one and done disease. Like, if you get it once, if you're immune, like, they don't even have a way to confirm that yet. So I could totally see people not wanting to take the risk.
So I know, what was it, Fauci was saying that it might come back again in December. It might become a seasonal thing. So we'll see. I am going out with my mask. Where is my mask? Hold on. But I've been going out with my mask lately and just trying to keep 6 feet away, but yeah. All right. So Wonder Woman, Black Widow, November 6th, 2020. Thoughts on that one? You think we'll be free by then? Not free, but be able to go, resume, or whatever, or start the new normal, whatever that new normal looks like.
I think that November sounds like a more like feasible date for people to be like ready to go back to stuff.
Right.
Now that does take into the question like the idea of the second wave. You know what I mean? Like, when this second wave hits, when the second wave hits, like, is it going? You know what I mean? Is it going to scare people again back in the theater? Is the disease just going to give us like the summer off, and then like, you know what I mean? We get all right, back to school, back to your little quarantine in the winter. You know what I mean? Like, who knows? Like, but I feel like people will be more like. I feel like August is a little close. I do feel like November is like a decent, might be some decent space between November and right now.
Sarah?
I think it just depends on what happens. Like, if we can get the tests going and so people feel more secure and feel like they know if they have it or not, then maybe by November people feel safe enough to go to the theaters. But as CJ was saying, August seems to be coming really fast.
It really does. And I found my mask. Here's my mask. Put it on later. Anywho, so all right, next one. Eternals got pushed back to whenever. Did any of you want to see Eternals? Me, not really. I don't care about the Eternals. I don't care about comic Marvel, period. I like the cast. I like Salma Hayek. I like Kumar Nanjiani, or I think I said it right. The dude from Silicon Valley. CJ or Sarah? Thoughts on Eternals when we move back? DJ.
Alright. Eternals, to paraphrase what you just said, I mean, I don't know anything about the Eternals, so like I'm a blank slate on it. I'm a Marvel fanboy though too, so like whatever. They don't even need trailers for somebody like me. They just show a title and a release date, and it's like, yeah, sure, I'll get around to it. But freaking. So it's like, yeah, I'll see it, but I have no knowledge what Eternals is even about. Like, I have no interest in seeing it, like no desire. There's nothing about it that I've heard so far that's like, oh yeah, I want to. Nah, I don't really care. Like, so it being pushed back, no, whatever, sure. I mean, I'll still see it, but like, I didn't care to see it this year. You know what I mean? Like, whatever. But I'm still open to see it. Like, I'm hoping that it's gonna be one of those things where I wasn't interested, but it like kind of blows my mind or something. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, oh wow, like this was awesome. I'm hoping it's like that, but whatever. I don't care. Eternals, they can push that back to 2025 for all I care. You know what I mean? Phase 7, and then like, but
I feel you. Sarah, thoughts on Eternals?
I'm the same. I don't really know enough about it to be excited for it. So the fact that it's pushed back, I'm just kind of like, okay. I just hope, maybe they speed up other films like the next Thor. I think they should, maybe push up so it comes out sooner. But that's a personal preference. But yeah, I'm not upset. I have no point of reference for that movie. When they announced it at Comic-Con, I was just kind of like, yay, I know nothing about this.
Yeah, I'd rather see Thor for Love and Thunder than Eternal. But I love Taika Waititi. I love the fact that they're bringing in Frack, what's her name? Natalie Portman as
Lady Thor.
Yeah, as Lady Thor. I was going to see Queen Amidala. Wrong franchise. Yeah, that would be cool.
Here's an interesting question for both of you, since we just brought up Thor 4. What do you guys think the chances are of Fat Thor being a thing in Thor 4?
Sarah, you go first.
I hope not. I want skinny Thor back, muscly Thor. I did not appreciate Fat Thor. I was funny. It was a good gag, but not really how I want to see him. He was eating his feelings.
Don't judge us, Sarah. I want to see Fat Thor. I wanted to stick to that joke, but I don't think it's going to happen. They're like, no, he was one movie and that's it.
Yeah, I hope so.
I want him to say fat, but I think it's going to happen. He's too sexy. But you know what?
I don't think they're going to keep him fat. Maybe like in like Guardians or something, if he's in that, like we'll see like the last glimpse of Fat Thor. You know what I mean? Like,
you know what? I do want to see them bring in. Well, I think it's been kind of confirmed that Christian Bale is in Thor 4 as a villain.
Yes.
Right? But I wanted to bring in Beta Ray Bill. Like, for some reason, I thought he was going to show up in Endgame. But I think CJ or someone said, like, no, that's not a big enough moment. Like, if that moment's too big, you got to bring him in for a bigger movie. So I want to see him in Thor 4. Thor 5. No, Thor 4. Beta Ray Bill. That's who I want.
I have no cares for Beta Ray Bill. He's ugly. All right, he's an ugly version of Thor, and I like my heroes to look cool. So
he does look cool. He's got a camel's head. That's pretty cool.
Well, I mean, according to cigarettes, yeah.
Beta Ray Bill with his.
As far as what I want to see more of in Thor 4, you already agree with me, Renee. You already know. What I want to see more of in Thor 4 is Lady Frickin' Sif. Like
my future ex-wife. Where is Jamie Alexander? I don't care about Lady Sif. Just Jamie Alexander. Bring her back.
Renee loves Jamie Alexander, but I love the character Lady Sif. Like I actually read comics with her in it. Like I like the character. I enjoyed her small input in the last movies that she was in, and she was even guest starred in the Agents of Shield series as well a couple times.
That's the only episode I watched. I skipped those 2 episodes.
Right, but dude, talk about freaking wave a magic wand and have a wish. Now that these 2 characters are in the MCU, I really want to see Lady Sif and Valkyrie together, dude. On something some kind of buddy cop, Asgardian, whatever. I want to see those 2 characters just kicking ass, taking names, and you know what I mean. Whatever, I'll pay for it. Disney, I'll pay for it. Whatever.
Taika Waititi, if you're watching this, please do a TV show with Lady Sif and Valkyrie kicking ass. Make it a buddy cop TV show through the 9 realms of Asgard. Or the 9 realms. Sarah, your thoughts on Thor 4?
I'm really excited for it. He's possibly my favorite character.
Beta Ray Bill? Or Thor?
In the MCU, maybe. I'd have to think about it. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see him again.
All right,
I want him back.
What about Lady Sif and Valkyrie? Or who do you prefer?
I'm not as I would love to watch it, but I'm not as excited as you guys are. But I would totally watch that. But yeah, as long as they're don't they have flying horses? I like that. That's pretty cool. Yeah.
All right, so, oh wait, she did say something about the flying horses, and that was such a cool moment in Endgame, in Avengers Endgame, and Spider-Man's riding on she saved Spider-Man, and he's riding on the horse on the back of it, you know what I mean? Like, that was awesome. But, hey, Renee, did you hear that your boy Kevin Smith cleared out his pull list for all his customers at Secret Stash?
I did not see that. What I saw was that he started a food delivery system called Movies, kind of like a DoorDash or Grubhub. So that's what I said. Okay, do tell about him clearing out the stash. I did not hear that.
Yeah, so like I get like he and I guess it's like maybe it might turn into a trend or whatever, but comic book writer Donny Cates, which I'm familiar with because he writes some pretty popular recent Venom story arcs. But he went to a comic book shop in Texas and cleared out a bunch of customers' pull lists. And so upon hearing this, Kevin Smith responded in kind. He owns a couple of comic book stores, Kevin Smith's Secret Stash. And
we've been there a couple times.
Yep. And he cleared out his entire customer pull list. So he paid for everybody's comics who had stuff that was waiting for him.
Oh, that's nice. Rich bastards.
What's up?
That's nice. Lucky bastards.
I know. Like, man, dude.
Like,
famous people were.
I'm like still a year behind. I still have years worth of comic books from 2 years ago that I haven't read yet. So I got some stuff to read. All right. Sarah, what do you think about Kevin Smith? Fellow good deed.
I think that's great because at the end of the day, he's really just supporting artists because that's what, comic books are made by artists, and I think there's not a lot. Like, everyone's focused on making sure people get food and, like, medical supplies, and that's fantastic and super important. But, like, I think what we're not remembering is, like, a lot of what I've been doing now is watching TV or, playing video games or that kind of thing. And if we don't support artists too, like, we're going to run out of things. It's already happening. Like, TV shows are getting pushed back, movies are getting pushed back. So he's supporting artists, and I think that's great.
So pretty much what I'm hearing is Nirvana's Small Teen Spirit, entertain us. Is what I'm hearing.
Right. I think this is a thing that's going around. It's almost kind of like, I mean, there's still people being real jerks in the media right now, but there's a lot of stuff that I'm hearing about, like from like at least like you hear like was it Ryan Reynolds donated a bunch to like the some food help organizations, and like things about other I even like some dude just like flagged me down driving, and like I wouldn't jump his car or whatever. Like he was just on the side of the road or whatever, and he just like flagged me down. And so it's just like I feel like people are like being like, they're squeamish of other people's germs right now, but like they're also being more helpful too. You know what I mean? So people are like volunteering to like get stuff for like older for their community. You know what I mean? Like or just stuff like that. I think it's like. It's cool that people are coming together, but people are also kind of like really close to falling apart too. So, we'll see.
Yeah, it's either you see the best of people or the worst of people in these times. Right now, so far, I'm seeing mostly a lot better than bad. Better than bad. That's good grammar. Sarah.
No, I definitely think people are being way kinder. Like, I was waiting in line for Trader Joe's the other day, and I forgot my phone in the car, and the people around me saved my spot. Like, it's just like little things like that, because that, like, this little kindness. I was like, oh my god, like my phone's like just sitting in my car and it has my grocery list on it, and they just let me back in line, and they didn't have to do that. It's just like the little things people are doing, I think, are making a difference.
That is awesome. That's cool. Yeah, no, the lines are getting insane. I don't know how much longer I can deal with the lines.
I got sunburned standing in line to get to the grocery store.
How long were you in line for?
I don't know. It was a while. The grocery lines are insane.
I hope it's over soon. I want no more lines. Such an American thing to say. No more lines. CJ, your thoughts on the lines? Have you? Well, you're dealing with lines. Do you want to talk about it or not? Move on.
Well, I was gonna talk to the kindness, like that she was saying. Like, I did know that, like, people are kind, and as I'm a pharmacy technician, I deal with a lot of people, and when I say deal with, I mean argue with a lot of people. But freaking, one thing I noticed is that people, like, they still get just well. I wouldn't say just as. Right now, like, emotions are really high, so a lot of people are, like, coming in, like, with chips on their shoulders and stuff already. But even when I notice, even when I deal with somebody and it's not necessarily a favorable outcome for them, like, they're pissed and they're angry and they might even be yelling at me, and, like, but they always, like, they stop and they make sure the conversation ends with, all right, well, thank you for your service. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and they're just like this, but they're just like, all right, well, thank you for working. All right, like, goodbye. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they just make sure they get that thank you, and they're like, all right, I respect that you're out here doing this, but you know what?
Frack.
You, buddy. But yeah.
All right. Yeah. No. It's interesting time. Interesting times. Uncle Sam's got his checks out. I got mine. Did you get yours, Sarah?
I don't know.
We'll leave it at that.
It's probably being mailed to my parents' house.
Okay.
So, or directly into my account. Either way, I don't know.
You would have known by now. All right. Is there anything we would like to add before we say goodbye to our fans and listeners and whoever that we go out to? Because my thing's about to die.
Binge recommendations.
What you got, CJ? Good sir.
Well, this time I have. Let's see. Sometimes I say things that show my age. This time I'm going to say something that shows my maturity. I have been watching. Let's see what Milo Murphy's Law.
What is that, dude? What is that?
That is a freaking kids cartoon. It is a spinoff of a very popular cartoon known as Phineas and Ferb, and it is I think it's the creators of that show, their second series. The main character is played by Weird Al Yankovic, who's like a kid. But it's like, I just put it on to be background, and then I got caught up in it, and I've been watching it like freaking like all the time. So just a goofy little irreverent, ridiculous show that's about nothing, and I shouldn't even like it. That's why I'm getting worked up right now. I'm just like, dude, I don't even know why I like the show, but it's hilarious though. It's a hilariously stupid show.
Did you ever watch Phineas and Ferb?
I haven't watched the Phineas and Ferb. I'm always like notorious for getting into like the offshoots first, and then like it like gets me into like the original thing.
See, I didn't know it was. I'm like, why does it look familiar? But I didn't know it was a spinoff because I love Phineas and Ferb. And then my baby sister started watching it. I'm like, oh, no, it's not cool anymore. I can't watch it.
hey, weird question. Phineas, you watched Phineas and Ferb?
I did.
Is it very musical?
Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
Okay.
They bring into songs a lot of time.
I've seen them perform the songs at Disneyland. Like the characters come out and dance.
It's very musical. I like Phineas and Ferb. I think it's a really fun show. I gotta watch. Milo's Murphy Law, you said?
Murphy's Law.
Yeah. All right. All right. Sarah, you got any binge recommendations?
I'm really into true crime stuff right now, like documentaries, like about real murders or serial killers. So right now I'm watching The Innocence Files, which is about the Innocence Project and how they're clearing people based on bad forensics and just poor casework. It's really fascinating.
Is that the one on Netflix?
It's on Netflix.
Yeah, I saw that.
I've been finding it really interesting. Like the first few episodes, which are all I've gone through so far, are all about like bite mark analysis and how like a faulty science it is. So I recommend it for people that like that kind of thing. The other one that I watched is Don't F with Cats, which finally,
thank you.
I recommend, but with a warning that it is super graphic, and I actually had to take a break from it.
They don't show anything. They don't show anything. They infer.
They show too much.
But they don't show the violence though. They don't show because I remember doing this again, and then I'm like, oh, they didn't show the whole thing. But I
They
know
don't show the whole thing, but like just
they push it enough.
they showed too much for me to be comfortable. Like I had to take a break.
All right, do you want to tell them? Do you want to give a little bit more about what the story is? Because I binge watched that day it came out. I'm like, what is this? And I just binge watched through it because I thought it was. And then I do remember hearing that story. It happened in 2011, 2012, right? And I remember
like
following that when it happened. I'm like, so do you want to tell people?
Yeah, so it's this guy starts posting videos of him murdering cats on the internet, and these people all around the country or maybe even the world get together in a Facebook group and are like, what the heck, we gotta catch him. So they actually do like really cool investigation to figure out who this person is, because he could be anywhere in the world. He's just posting them on the internet, and I don't really want to ruin it for people that either don't know the real history or want to be surprised by what happens. But yeah, it's like partly investigation and partly about like what we should allow on the internet, and also I think partly about our responsibility as viewers, enabling people that want notoriety.
That's a good point. Yeah, because it was definitely that, and then that guy. It's I don't want to give it away too because it's such a good story.
I think the best way to put it is the person posting them wanted them to be seen, and so the more attention that the videos got,
he would
more he felt like. Yeah. He
would send out videos with posters of a movie, and they go, well, that movie has a clue, and that goes to that, and it was leading them on. It was like, it was a cat and mouse, a real life cat and mouse game.
Yeah.
Like a real life 7, I want to say. I don't know what else to call it. Like, would you agree?
Yeah.
Yes, that's a good choice. I can't.
Yeah, less sophisticated than Kevin Spacey, I think, in 7, but yeah.
It's true. For my recommendations, I've been watching Boy Meets World again, for the 4th time because it's a fun show. It's a good show. It's a good old American boy falling in love with Topanga. Yeah, Boy Meets World. That's my recommendation. An oldie.
Who didn't fall in love with Topanga?
Jerks. That's who. Jerks. Alrighty. Well, that's it. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Legs.